Something that was hard to miss during the draft was that it felt like every other player, and 3 of them in the top 10, for example, put on hats of teams that they're not going to play for. They know they're not going to play for them. Everyone knows they're not going to play for them. But because the trades are not yet official, they have to sort of go through this song and dance. And, Bobby, I know you were tweeting about that last night.
Well, and we wrote about it on ESPN this morning that I thought the NBA lost last night. I really did. I thought the first 11 picks was somewhat of a charade, where we had 4 players there that had hats on that they won't even play for. And I think there's something that for teams in the league to look at as far as can we reverse free agency in the draft, have free agency start first, have the cap calendar year start first, start free agency, and then have the draft. And we wouldn't have issues like this.
So that's the mechanical piece of this, to be clear. And for anyone who's wondering, that's how the National Football League does it. They have their free agency, and then they have their draft. This part of it, I understand the sort of discomfort of having to put on the hats. It does seem to me, however, that the mechanics of which comes first, the draft or free agency, is more important than that. That supersedes that. So do you think the league would actually be better served, forgetting the hats and whatever the optics of that may be, having free agency before the draft?
I think if you polled all 30 teams, I think you would have a majority of teams that would like to do free agency before the draft. And I think that's something that they should look at when they have their meetings in Summer League.
Or you can just get rid of the hats altogether.
But that's the other piece of this. I mean, if the hats are the problem, we can get rid of the hats.
As a player, if I hear my name called in the lottery, I don't really care what hat I wear.
No, but I mean, here's the thing.
I got $1 million
the rest of your life, you're going to have that picture of you and Adam Silver standing there, and you're wearing a hat of a team that you never played for and were never going to.
Can we just put it in perspective, Brittany? You're still getting drafted in the lottery.
No, I understand that.
I hear you
get
with the hat.
No one is suggesting this is the most important thing in the world, but it certainly was all over Twitter last night as I was watching. Everyone was noting that this kid's never going to wear that team. Why is he wearing that hat?
But to what Bobby said, trades around the draft have gotten extraordinarily complicated, where so many of them now are sliding to the next league year. Beyond the hats, we've got a whole bunch of players who cannot be traded now until July 6th. Guess what? Summer League starts July 5th. They're now going to be behind because they have to sign their contract. So just functionally, with the flow of development of players, they need to make an adjustment on that.
Well, and they can't even have a press conference. So if you are, Jackson Hayes, who is going to New Orleans, they're going to introduce Zion Williamson, but he's going to have to wait until this trade is final. And Brian made a good point about Summer League. They're going to be in a holding pattern for the first 6 days. I know that's small things right now, and I agree with Jay about it is about getting drafted, hearing your name, and they're going to be paid wealthy here.
And it's not a small thing because somebody could twist an ankle and have a freak injury, and then we're having a different conversation.
Yeah, I mean, these trades are what they are. Look, I didn't mean to get bogged down in this. It's just something that I think a lot of people thought was a big deal.
And you're a perfectionist.
Let's get to this stuff. Well, it just rubs me the wrong way. And why am I wearing the wrong hat? I just don't understand it.